What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on Pig City Hockey, and today we're talking about Cole Perfetti because recently his name has jumped to the top of all discussions around this team for a good amount of reasons, but the big one being the fact that he was scratched in Saturday's matchup against the Carolina Hurricanes. And the big reason why that's such a surprise to me is not because of his play as of late, but because that's a game where you're already out Brendan Dillon and Gabriel Velarde with injury and sickness. So this fact that they decided to scratch Perfetti in a game that they actually come back and score 5 unanswered goals in the third period and win 5-3, I think says a lot about his game as of late. And, he's been getting criticism left, right, and center, and it's not unwarranted. Cole Perfetti has been on a very bad slide since pretty much in the start of this new year. He had a really, really hot start to the year. Him and Ehlers were finding a lot of success on that second line, and he was playing really good hockey. And ever since January, pretty much, like I said, the start of 2024, his game has slowly declined. And when you look at his game sheet, he hasn't put up a point since January 16th against the New York Islanders. It's been a very long time since Cole Perfetti has got going. He has struggled immensely, and I think that, his scratch was warranted. And we'll talk about what kind of is next for Perfetti, I think, but what Bonus really said about why he was scratched, it's being a tough call and how much he struggled, but having that mental reset, I think, is probably a good thing for this young player because he's kind of in a weird spot. You could send him down to the Moose if you really wanted to, but at the same time, this is a Jets team that's gearing up for a deep playoff run potentially, and sending down one of the, you're a crucial member of your top 6 for a majority of the season, I don't think is the right bet, but scratching him, I think, is definitely a good idea. It sends him a message, it gives him a time to check out, which is something that he needs to do. Perfetti has been really just in a bad place for a while now, and I think that, it's a good game to do this because, we've seen in the past that he was being sent down to that fourth line with Iafallo struggling as well, him giving an opportunity in the second, Perfetti dropping the fourth, and you look at the 30 points he's put up this year, and those stats, he's been pretty, not bad. It's just he can't put up points as of late. Like I said, the 2024 calendar year has been kryptonite to Cole Perfetti, and I think that the big thing going forward for him is just finding his confidence again and getting going because, we've seen with the addition of Sean Monahan the impact he's having with that second line, and Cole Perfetti is just not finding success with Monahan and dropping him down to that fourth line. You see Iafallo get some goals and start to play a little bit better lately, getting some points, and Perfetti, not really doing anything on that fourth line. And now it wasn't that he was bad on that fourth line, he's just not generating the offensive opportunity that you want to see from him and that you have seen from him at prior points in this season. And I think that, the Jets will find themselves in a spot where eventually, he will get going again, but it's really been rough if you're Cole Perfetti as of late. You see in the interviews, you see how he's been just talked to and interviewed throughout the media right now within the city of Winnipeg, and every interview he gives is pretty depressing. Like, he's got no confidence right now. This is the driest spell he's ever had in his professional career, going back to the juniors as well, and I think that speaks volume to how consistent he's been in his career up until this point, and to have these problems, it's really affecting his confidence, and that's why I think the scratch is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes scratches send not the best message to players about their play, but I think in Perfetti's case, giving him that mental checkout just for a game, finding himself again, trying to clear his head and just not have to worry about doing that on the ice and trying to break a cold streak, I think it's going to be important for a young player because I don't think sending him down to the Moose right now would be the best bet for him. I just don't think it makes that sense, like what, a conditioning stint down there with the way that the Jets are playing right now, and going into the trade deadline, going into the end of the season, I don't think that's a smart move. So, scratching him and keeping him on the team, keeping him skating with the big guys, having the Jets, still have him there, I think is the most important thing to have right now and to look at, is because Cole Perfetti is 22 years old. And at this point in his career, I don't think sending him down to the AHL, where he hasn't been in 2 years, sends the right message to his development. The scratch does send the right message because it gives the guy a chance to really clear his head, not worry about the game at hand, and then go into things again a little bit better. They're going to be playing in Buffalo today on a back-to-back where he was scratched yesterday. The Jets rebounded in a great third period, and they're now going to have to play against, not a great team in Buffalo and get those 2 points. They need to go on this run right now, especially after losing to Dallas. So I think having Perfetti clear his head on a game like that, have the team go out and play great, come back really well in the third period after a very bad start in that first, I think, you know, it sends all the right messages to him going into this next one. It's this next game against Buffalo. I think he should play. I think it does set him up, you know, to come back into a situation where the team is finding success without him, where he can go in now and not have that much, you know, of a worry and try to find his confidence. And I think that's the big thing right now, is Cole Perfetti right now, with the way that 5-on-5 has been going in the entire play of the top six, he's just kind of getting not really, you know, kind of mixed into the fold and not finding his game, because the entire top six has just been playing so inconsistently up until the last recent games. And like I said, you know, you look at the Moose time that he had down there, the AHL, 2020 and then 2021, you know, he hasn't been down there since that 2021 season. He's been consistent with the Jets for 2 years now, playing over 50 games, and I just don't know if sending him down to the AHL sends that right idea, you know. And everyone's saying that, oh, he's a bust already. Look at that draft, you know. He's with the points that where Cole Perfetti is taking 10th overall, he's not been bad. So far, he's played pretty good well, and he's just on a bad run, you know. I have full faith in Cole Perfetti, especially, you know, with Sean Monahan being on this team now, and just them looking at bolstering even more going to this deadline, you know, potentially dropping out a Mason Appleton. You've got a guy like Kapari sitting on the bench. Like, the Jets have the depth. They've got good players. Perfetti's just in a rut right now, and I think a lot of fans are overreacting to this rut, and I think scratching him, and I think, you know, that I really do believe that this scratch could benefit him going into the, you know, the remainder of the season, because like I said, sending him down right now where the team needs players and they need all hands on deck, especially after Velarde getting injured, I think, you know, you don't want to do that. And I think that Bonus made the right decision in this game against Carolina, where, you know, you scratch him, the team plays terrible in the first, they come back in the second and the third, in particular the third, they rebound extremely well, and they put 5 unanswered goals on Carolina and win the hockey game. You know, now you have Cole Perfetti, who didn't play in that game, who could potentially come in on a back-to-back night a little bit fresher, a little bit, you know, with more of his head clear, and I think that could really benefit the team moving forward. You know, his confidence has been at an all-time low, so to have that checkout and see his team win without him, you know, having not to worry about the on-ice performance, be able to come into a situation on a back-to-back, be fresh, I think it sets Cole Perfetti up, honestly, for a pretty good situation. So time will tell. Obviously, this video is going to be posted and being recorded before the game against Buffalo, so we're going to have to wait and see, but I am very excited to see what he's going to do, and I hope he plays. And if he doesn't play and he does get scratched in back-to-back games, you know, again, I still stand by the fact that giving him a mental break right now could be the best thing for him, especially with the stress that he's been under, the scrutiny he's been under with the media in Winnipeg as well on this cold streak. I think it'd be very good for him in his game. I'm not worried about Cole Perfetti. I don't want to trade Cole Perfetti. He's not a bust, and people need to calm down about Cole Perfetti. The recency bias within him and the fan base lately is insane, in my opinion. So make sure to let me know your thoughts on Cole Perfetti down in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe if you're new. Check all the affiliate links down in the description below. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Go Jets, go! And I will see you guys in the next one.